Hey guys, hey, in this episode, we're really going to start to unpack, but this is going to be more of a self-assessment webinar as we try to figure out kind of where you're at in this process, right? Hopefully along the way, you've learned a little bit about pro-inflammation versus anti-inflammation and really asking yourself where you are on that side of the equation. Do you really need to dial back on the inflammation right now? Are you tired a lot? Do you have a lot of soreness? Do you have pains in the body? Those are signs that you have inflammation, right? Then we talked a little bit, kind of just recapping real quick here. Then we talked a little bit about resilience versus tolerance. Do you have a lot of food sensitivities? Do you have a lot of allergies? Do you have a lot of things because you have a lower tolerance? Do you have a autoimmune condition? Those are all signs of a lower tolerance. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you have necessarily low resilience, but oftentimes that lowers your resilience along the way as well. And so, are there some things that you need to do, whether that's a detox or what have you, to try to help build this tolerance up while at the same time building up some resilience? We last time we talked a little bit about stress and the effect that it has on the immune system as being one of the main drivers as well. So there's kind of three big things going on out there, right? So in this one though, want you to do a self-assessment of kind of where you're at emotionally in this process. Where do you need to go? Where have you been? And where are you going, right? And so, one of the things I'm seeing in practice is there's kind of two paradigms right now. There's the paradigm that this isn't real, this isn't the reality of the situation. There's a good lot of that, and that's a processing mechanism for a lot of people right now, and I understand that. And then there's a side of the equation where people have gone from no, this isn't real to now this is real, and then that creates a whole lot of anxiety for those people in that side of the equation as well. And so I really want to talk to those that have kind of moved into okay, this is reality. How am I going to address it, right? And I came across this slide that I'm going to share with you, and I asked permission from the people that produced it, if I could use it for you guys. And I thought it was really nice in that it relates really well to the time that we're currently in. And so the question I really want to ask you is which zone are you currently in? Understand that. Realize that's okay. But then ask yourself, how do I move to the next zone? What's my next step? And then at the same time, how do I not go back a zone, right? Like, so these are all kind of the ebb and flow of kind of working our way through this. In the beginning, a lot of people stopped doing the things that they really enjoy. They became very suspicious and, certainly looking for something or someone to blame. And this is that fear zone, right? This is where a lot of people have been living for the last 4 to 6 weeks. Um, they're having trouble focusing on task, feel very overwhelmed and underproductive. And they tend to panic buy. One of the signs is that you're panic buying, like all the toilet paper in the store that could possibly need for the next year, right? And so these are that fear motivation, right? And so if you're in that zone, it's okay. A lot of people were in that zone. Now we're starting to transition, hopefully. I think as a society, we're transitioning into a learning zone. And that's the reason that we're putting out these videos. People are starting to ask, how can I make healthier choices, both physically and mentally? How can I plan my days to make the most out of the time that I have? They're starting to recognize that they have some fear zone behaviors that have started to creep into their daily lives, and they're starting to recognize, that's probably not really where I want to be. Um, and they're starting to hopefully accept that some things are outside of their control. There's some things that we have to do right now, that we're being told to do, that being recommended to do, that that we just kind of have to do. I have to do a lot of things in the office that I don't necessarily like the idea that I have to do them, but they're telling me I need to do them, right? And so I'm starting to accept some of those things. Um, and then, one of the great things, and I think this happened pretty early, is a lot of people just recognize, hey, we're all in this together. And we're all trying to do our very best that we can. And whether that means we can't get you in immediately for an appointment, or, perhaps we have to ask you some annoying questions before you come into the office. We're all doing the best we can. But you're also starting to look for learning opportunities. Again, this is why we're doing these classes right now, because I want to take you guys hopefully from this learning zone into this growth zone. where you're looking for opportunities on how to help others. And we're going to get a little bit into that in this next one. And you're focusing on what's the next right thing to do, and how do what's my next step? What's my next thing? You're not so huddled up and bundled up in this fear thing, but how do I start to transition? Um, we're going to talk about how to be appreciative and grateful and how that affects our body and our immune system. Um, we're going to talk about maybe trying to limit our social media, even though I'm presenting this to you on social media and saying it's a good idea. I know the issue there, but I think this is good information, positive information. Um, and how do we transition into I accept that this is the reality right now, and yet choose to be present in it. And so that's kind of the process. I thought this was just a really nice slide, and I just wanted to present it to you guys, let you guys kind of make your own self assessments on kind of where you are, where you need to go, and then just also to be aware that hey, you can ebb and flow a little bit, and recognize those problems and issues that may push you towards this fear zone, as we talked about in the stress response and moving towards that. Fear is a sympathetic response, right? Growth is more of a parasympathetic response. And so obviously we really want to push you towards that growth zone. So um, not real practical stuff in this one. That's coming up, I promise. I know I keep saying that, but I have plenty of practical stuff. I just need to kind of get everybody up on the same page here. And then this one, like I said, just kind of reassessing where you currently are with things. So thank you for your time.